Good morning. Okay. I was planning on making a garden tour, mostly for the records, just to know what's growing when, what temperature it is, what it looks like every month. I was going to do it on the 15th. We're about a week late because it is April 22nd, 2022, and this is what's going on in the garden. All right, we're in zone 6B or 6A, depending on who you ask. The theme of the garden is probably, once again, I should have started things sooner, but it is what it is. Let's see. Let's start with the win, the garlic. So I get in most of my garlic in the fall. Actually, it was like beginning of winter. I think I did it in December, actually, but that's fine as long as you can work the soil. So this is just one bed. We'll go over and see the other two beds. Last year, or I guess it would be like 2 years ago, I planted supermarket garlic. I just bought garlic from Walmart, Kroger, wherever it was from, and divided it up and planted the cloves. I was testing it out before I spend like good money on fancy garlic, and it worked. It's so easy to grow. So this past year, I actually ordered some different garlic. I know I ordered Enchilium Red and Music, and I'm gonna have to consult, video something, or just wait until we harvest them to see what I planted where, because I don't remember. And then I also planted some of the supermarket garlic that had grown last year, so then it's like the second year of it. Here's the other big bed of it. I assume these are two different types, and that's why I left a spot in the middle here. And then I had a little bit more that I put over here. And this line right here, this is actually elephant garlic that my mom bought a head of elephant garlic at the store and gave it to me so I could divide it up and grow it and see what that looks like. So that's right here. Moving on to the onions. You can barely see them in here, but there are onions in here. There's one right here. There's one right here. They are growing. I started several different types of onion from seed this year. Some red ones, white ones, yellow ones. I don't remember. I'd have to look and see if I still have the packets of what they were. I started them in a pot. I still have some in a pot, and these were actually the weakest of them, that they looked like they were going to die, so I put them out here, and they are rebounding. But when I see other people online, their onions are already quite large, bringing me again to, I need to start everything way sooner than I think I should. Second bed of the same onions. These are all the red onions. So I still have to put out the other onions that I have in the pot. Here's another small little group of onion. These are actually walking onions. So I bought these walking onions from someone, I think on Etsy, because I was trying to buy from like people. I tried to buy seeds from people who are actual people, not big companies, but obviously I bought a lot of seeds also from some companies, but as much as I could, I would like to try to support actual other people. So these are walking onions. They're supposed to, I've never grown them before. It's my first year. They're supposed to grow up, make these kind of like seed heads that flop over and then grow more onions. So it's almost like a perennial, just like keeps going type of thing. So eventually it'd be great to have this bed be walking onions, I guess, unless I transfer them. I'll probably put them somewhere else eventually. But right now what I have planted in here, I planted the other day carrots and chickpeas, just alternating rows. We're going to see how that turns out. And then I have a couple of overwintered carrots. This was an experiment. I threw out carrot seed that I had saved in the fall to see if it would overwinter and if that would be a good option. I distinctly remember having a bunch of carrots grow, but I think that the continuous freezing, hard freezes just killed a bunch of them, because then only 9, I could count them, 9 carrots made it through the winter. So that is, I won't be repeating that again. That didn't work out. Moving on to direct seeded plants. We have my sugar snap peas here on this trellis. And then I also planted some just random places in the garden where the fence are to see if they would grow up the fence. I really wish that I had started some other types of peas, like some shelling peas or something I could can. I'm not sure if it's too late for that now. I feel like it's a little bit difficult to time things in the garden sometimes, because we will go from absolute freezing, really cold temperatures, snow, to 80 degrees. It's supposed to be 80 degrees this weekend. Or we'll have a stretch of like a week where it's really hot, like 80-degree weather, and then bam, back to snow and cold. And so it's hard to get the timing right. I would like to invest maybe in some of those little the low hoop tunnels. I feel like that would give me a little bit better control over the environment in the garden. Okay, this is a great experiment. This makes me so happy. These are direct seeded right here in the garden, and they look so much better than anything that I started in seed blocks or pots or anything. And it's making me think that, man, I just need to direct seed this entire garden if that is possible. There's some beets, there's some radishes, I think there's even some like cabbages in here, and they just look so much happier than what I got going on. Like, these were done way after what I planted, and I will show you what I planted before these in pots, and they just look not as good. So I'm starting to think that the direction I need to take is some low tunnels and direct seeding, and just go with that. All right, let's move on to what I would consider the backbone of the garden, the perennials, things that I don't have to plant, that can come up year after year, that I don't need to worry about. First up, this used to be strawberries. This was a bed full of strawberries, but I let them get overrun with weeds last year, and a bunch of them died out. But some of them are coming back outside of the strawberry bed. And actually, I would like to find a more permanent place for them. I don't feel like this is the best place for them, but they are coming back, and that makes me happy. Probably the best looking bed right now, right here, this is all oregano. Oregano loves to grow. It's all over the garden. There's some right here. Started putting it on the outside of my beds because I feel like that'll give the nice, like, spilled over cool look. Cool, not cool. Just like a more whimsical look. So I planted some there. Here we have some here. I would love it if the herbs could just be like kind of meandering throughout the garden. Maybe not necessarily in a set bed. In fact, I'm thinking of taking the oregano from this bed and planting it outside the garden. So an herb that I like more than oregano, thyme. This one came back really great. There are some others over here next to the oregano that are coming back. They're starting to come back. And I've started some other herbs too, some sage and some basil and just all sorts of stuff like that. But the things that come back year after year, really appreciate them. So as far as the main garden, the fenced in garden area, that's all I have to show you right now. I don't have any big cabbages. I don't have any big onions. I don't have a lot of stuff to show you. And what's sad is we're almost at the time to plant out like your tomatoes and your basil, and my spring garden is not where it needs to be. My spring garden game is not good. Like I said, I would think that maybe if I could invest in some tunnels, just the low little ones, or even some floating row cover, something like that, maybe I could give it a better go next year. But I'm not like giving up or anything. Like, I'm still gonna plant out stuff. But let's go look elsewhere. Hey, sweetie. I'm not giving you guys food. That's not what's going on right now. Okay, we're in the dog pen, which is actually where the chickens live. It's not a dog, it's just chickens, but it's called the dog pen. Anyways, we plowed up this whole section, but we didn't cover it with anything, so it turned back to grass. Duh. I did plant potatoes here, and I saw some have come up. So amongst the weeds, I do see potatoes starting to come up. Here's another one right here. Since I started cooking from scratch, I realized that our family eats a crap ton of potatoes. So I really need a lot of potatoes. I have more that I need to plant out as well. I need to get rid of some of this grass first. Why don't you eat the grass? Can you eat the grass? Eat some of the weeds. Help out for once. So I also threw out a line of zinnia seed because I was like, I want some flowers. I want some easy wins. I know they'll pop up, and they are. So here we have some baby zinnia. And there's more down the line. You may be thinking, how do you know that those are zinnia compared to all the other random weedy crap growing in your garden? Well, if you're as bad at weeding as I am and have dealt with weeds this long and direct seeded and grown from seed, well, you learn which ones are things you want and which ones aren't. About 95% of the stuff in here, not stuff I want. So I'm mostly doing this just to document like the vegetable gardening part of it, but I am going to show the flowers because they look great. Woohoo! Our hostas are up and open. The peonies are coming up. They're pretty good. These daffodils already went. I got some, I don't know if it's called spider plant. I know we have some spider plants. Maybe that's what that is. Maybe these are daylilies. Goodness gracious, we'll find out. I find the daffodils come in waves. They start with they're called something like white princess, whatever. I don't know. These really pretty white ones. They were the first to come and go. And then some of the yellowish, I don't know if these are Tahiti. These started coming and these are beautiful. And then the little tiny ones started. And now my absolute favorite ones are in bloom. And that is these. They are small, which I love. They're the little tiny ones. They smell amazing and they're just so beautiful. Look at them. So beautiful. Also very exciting, some of the green ones have started. It's got like green. I think that's interesting. Oh, these pale ones are pretty. The little baby ones. More of these. I feel like now that there's not snow happening, all of a sudden it feels like it's go time in a big way. It's a little overwhelming. There's a lot that needs to be put out and a lot that needs to be done. All right, let's show some berries and trees. This was a blueberry bush that was stuck in a planter for 10 years. I'm so sorry, but look how happy it is right now. I finally planted it in the ground and it is so happy. This is the last peach tree from the old peach trees that is standing. Well, I lied. I guess that one over there, but that one doesn't look long for this world. This is the last one that kind of looks okay. I'm not expecting like any peaches out of it. It's just, I mean, it might, but it's old. Right along this fence is where we have some blackberries that were given to us by a friend. I need to propagate some more of them. I'd like to fill this in. Looking good, looking good. And they've kind of looped over. I wonder if they have actually got roots on the other side. They might have already rooted. Sweet! Check that out. I want them to grow on both sides of the fence. They just flopped over and rooted on the other side. That is a win. I didn't do that. Nature did that, but that's exactly what I would have wanted it to do. That is, whew. I'm glad my garden does stuff for me because, you know, I'm a mess. But it'll read seed stuff and propagate itself, and thank goodness. Before we check out the trees, we're going to see how any of the wild blackberries, and there's one black raspberry bush. We'll see if it's doing anything. All right, here's some of the wild. I don't know if this one's the raspberry or the blackberries. It looks like it's got some little buds forming on it, so that's exciting. When I figure out which one of these is the black raspberry, I will definitely be attempting to propagate that because that is my absolute favorite berry. Okay, it's too early for the mulberries and anything else that's wild out here, but the peach trees, these are our newer peach trees. We have 4 of them. This one's really got a lot more leaves than these do. Luckily, they bloomed out, and I'm pretty sure they all got pollinated and stuff before the freeze that happened, I think. Or maybe it was after. Whatever it was, I think we're getting peaches this year, which is... And then we have our apple trees. Are they just starting to bloom out? Yeah, just starting to bloom out. Oh, so pretty. We used to have these 2 big apple trees. I think they're both gone now. It was a shame. They were really, really prolific. They made a lot of apples and they were pretty good. They just got old. One of them I think might have got struck by lightning. I don't know. So then we replanted 4 apple trees, 3 of which are doing all right. And then there's this guy. I'm sorry. It's like the Charlie Brown tree of apples. That's so sad. I don't know what to tell you. Womp womp. I think that pretty much concludes our April garden tour. There is mint up here in the box. Try to keep mint out of the yard since it just kind of spreads everywhere. Other than that, I'll show you my sad looking seedlings. Mint. I feel like the only year I had really good seed starting was the very first year I did it. Every year since then has been a challenge. But here's Spinach, though, I mean, look at how immature. Like, I should have started so much later. It's gonna be 80 degrees. This is not great. These looks like to be some sort of cabbages or I don't know. This is celery. Look at how small. I think this is sage. Kind of has that sage look about it. Okay, these are red cabbage. And look at how much smaller and not as good these look as the ones that were direct seeded in the garden. Like, let's just direct seed everything. This is ridiculous. These are bell peppers from a pepper from the store. I obviously need to do something with these, poor things. These are sweet potatoes getting growing. Gotta get those going. This is asparagus that I need to put out. I have a whole bunch of tomatoes that, like, people who have done a good job at seed starting have tomato plants that are like a foot tall by now. It's fine. I just seeded this basil the other day. That'll be great. And then here's all the onions that I have to still put out. These are, let me see, what does this say? I just got these from the store. So these are yellow Spanish sweet onion. All right. So I need to put those out. Who knows what these are? All right. So we're going to call it a time. We're going to say that was it. When I look here, I see where I should have pushed harder and grown more seeds and started them sooner and done a better job. But luckily, there are things growing. So hopefully we can catch up and have a good year. I'm going to try to make the next video in May 15th. We'll see how it goes.